Well, the Nobel Peace Prize is a pretty significant thing. You just don't get that phone call every day. And I actually was in Niger and negotiating access in a very difficult area. I had ISIS and Al Qaeda blocking our access and using weaponization of food to recruit. And so I was in a very hostile meeting. And in fact, somebody bust in the door while I'm in this negotiation. And I'm looking at it, I'm like, what the heck are you doing walking in here, And the Nobel Peace Prize. And I was like, yeah, great. Who won it? You did, we did. And, I was like, oh my gosh, And what the Nobel Peace Prize Committee was doing was recognizing our leadership, what we were doing in bringing peace to nations, using food as a weapon of peace, and voicing very clearly against the things that were wrong. Now, there are pros and cons when you do that. The pros are, it's right. It's a good thing to do. The cons are people will attack you. When you do what's right and what's good, particularly if it really matters, people will come after you. It happens. And so anyway, we won the Nobel, which was an extraordinary thing. And of course, I took advantage of that to message even stronger and greater around the world on a variety of things, including starvation, migration, destabilization of nations, and how the world is destabilizing because of the lack of food. War brings out hunger, hunger brings out war. It's a combination of many, many factors. And so leadership is critical, and how you message and when you message and where you message. And I remember when I lost my governor's race in 1998 because of my position on it was time to take the Confederate flag down, put it in its proper place. Well, I was ahead of the time. Now everybody thinks, oh, well, that's the thing to do. It wasn't so simple back then. And so the night of my election, and we lost, and the whole country was shocked because I was leader of the Republican governors, 32 out of the 50, the whole 9 yards, And but I made a decision before the election. It was the right thing to do, no matter what. I knew it could cost me the election, and if I didn't touch it, I would be reelected without any issue at all. But three things: you got to do what's right. You got to do what's right when it's right to do it, and you got to do what's right when it's right to do it the right way. So the night of my loss, I brought my entire team in, and they were in shock. I said, I want to ask you three questions. Number one, did we do what was right? And they all shook their head yes. Number two, did we do what was right when it was right to do it? Well, a lot of people will do what's right. It won't cost them anything. And they all said reluctantly, unfortunately, yes. And we kind of laughed. And I said, well, then the third is when we did what was right at the right time, did we do it the right way? Not out of condemnation and hatred and bitterness and judgment, but out of love and compassion. If the answer to those three questions is yes, then we've been successful, and that's a victory.